So yesterday, I stopped at the BP garage to give myself a Wild Bean Cafe coffee, as is my wont. It's the breakfast of champions. A cup of Wild Bean coffee and a vape. It used to be coffee and a cigarette, but I don't smoke anymore. I'm just like super healthy these days, apparently. My body is a temple. If that temple was the Taj Mahal, because I'm kind of that shape. But so I stopped and I grabbed my coffee, and as I was walking out, there was two tradies that were waiting in the queue, and they were talking. And as I walked past them, the one said to the other, "Anyway, mate, we can't all be Spider-Man." And I didn't really register what he had said until I'd walked out the door, at which point it was too late to turn around and say to him, "Mate, what did you mean?" Because it wasn't said in a joking fashion. Yeah, they weren't like, he didn't say that and then they both had a laugh, which is what you'd expect from that sort of comment. It was entirely serious. We can't all be Spider-Man. What were they talking about? What does it mean? We can't all be Spider-Man. Were they talking about, I don't know, what they were going to wear to some sci-fi convention or something? Were they, I don't know, talking about climbing trees, scaling buildings, taking photographs, or having an alter ego? I don't know what they meant, and it bugs me. And this has happened to me a number of times, enough that there are things stuck in my head, comments that have been made that I've overheard and I have no context for, and I really wish I did. For example, I was at Angel Station, I think it was, in London, and this thing, I mean, it's got a huge escalator, and I was going up the escalator or going down, whichever it was, and there was three guys going the other way. And as I passed them, the one said to the other two, and I told him, "Nah, not just with one eye you're not." And the other two kind of, What were they talking about? What was the context? What did the guy want to do that he couldn't do because he only had one eye? What's the story behind us? It has bothered me. And it's been 20 years since I left the UK, and it bothers me. I really want to know what they were talking about. Another time, I think this was in New Zealand, I was walking past a couple in a shop, and the man said to, it was a man and his wife, and as I walked past them, the man said to his wife, "I should never used an arrow, that's a rookie mistake." What were they talking about? What does it mean? They're talking about like hunting, and the guy decided he was going to use an arrow instead of a gun, and some disaster befell the hunter as a result. Were they talking about maybe a PowerPoint presentation that had gone wrong? So someone had used an arrow to connect two things instead of just a straight line, and that had caused like a disaster for the presentation? I don't know. Should never have used an arrow. And it's a rookie mistake, which implies that whatever this person did by choosing to use the arrow, this error had been made by many people as a result, and the knowledge about not using arrows had been passed on from one to another. What were they talking about? But the one that bugs me the most, and this happened in Zimbabwe, and this is going back 30 years, maybe 35 years. I was in Harare, and I walked past one guy shouting at another guy, or yelling at him across the street or from a distance or whatever it was. And the guy said, "Blazo, where'd you got footage?" Where'd you got footage? Now, I'm not a linguistics genius, and I've got to admit that my knowledge of local Zimbabwean languages is pretty limited. But in my limited understanding, this sentence translates as, buddy, we should eat a fridge. Where'd you go, fridge? We should eat a fridge. There is nothing I can think of. There's nothing that I can think of that would necessitate the use of that sentence. We should eat a fridge. What is going on in your life that you and your buddy, the only solution that you can think of is eating a fridge? And how would you eat the fridge? No, how is irrelevant? Why would you need to eat a fridge? I'm really hoping that it's some kind of slang and it meant something to these two guys, because again, it wasn't said as a joke. This was a serious comment. Buddy, we should eat a fridge. Blazo, where'd you go fridge? I don't get it. So these are things that I've overheard, and I just wish I knew the context, because it's going to bug me until the day I die. I'm going to be lying in my hospital bed, contemplating my entry at the pearly gates, if that's the direction that I'm going to be taking. And I'm going to be wondering, dude, why did that guy say we need to eat a fridge? What was the dealio? Anyway, love you guys.